What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon 466 Cards, and today we're here to talk about the Mikal Bridges trade and the impact on his card values. If you're not aware, Mikal Bridges was traded from the Brooklyn Nets to rejoin his old Villanova teammates in New York City for the New York Knicks, and this definitely makes the New York Knicks into a title contender. The roster is pretty stacked. And as a result, you would probably expect his card values to go up, and they have. You can see this is his Silver Prism PSA 10. A month ago, it was selling for 40, 50 bucks, 30 something in May. And now the Silver Prism PSA 10 sold for 80 bucks, went up all the way to 125 as of June 26th, and on a Pop 780 card. I also saw online, there's one person in particular basically doing a victory lap about how this is great for Mikal Bridges. And it's definitely true. If you're a Mikal Bridges fan, if you're a New York Knicks fan, if you're a Villanova fan, you should be happy about this trade, right? This makes them into a title contender. But if you are a Mikal Bridges card holder or card buyer, expecting this to then lead to increasing card values, I think you're going to be left disappointed. You should not be going on a victory tour about how all of his cards are going to go up in price because he is now on the New York Knicks. And while it is nice to have a player on the Knicks, which is one of obviously the biggest franchises in the league, I want to do a reality check here. Who is Mikal Bridges? Well, on the New York Knicks, he's going to be the third option on offense at best. And if you take a look at his awards and achievements, I am on his basketball reference page. This is where his awards and achievements are shown. He has none. He has not made an all-star team. The one thing that he's done is make the all-defensive team in 2021. He's almost 28 years old. So my first question to you is, name one player in NBA history who at 28 years old had never made an all-star team and had long-term hobby value. I cannot think of one off the top of my head. If there is one out there, feel free to let me know in the comments below, but I'm pretty confident that you're not going to find someone who has cards that have long-term hobby value. And I'm obviously not talking about something like a one-of-one Black Prism or a Logo Man or something like that, right? Because those by default have value. But for something like a Silver Prism card, even in a PSA 10, which has a pop of 780, do any players who would fit this mold of 28 years old, has not made an all-star team, and has long-term hobby value? I think the answer is clearly no. And if you scroll down, you can see he averaged 20 points a game for a very mediocre Brooklyn team. He's never really gone beyond 20 points, except for that half a season when he got traded to Brooklyn there, and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were no longer there. So in New York, he's going to average like 15, 16 points a game as the number 3 option behind Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. So to me, there's no real path to hobby value, long-term hobby value. Like there's a spike in the short term, as we've seen here. But if we take a look down history, like if your argument is, but he's going to be an NBA champion now, they're going to win the title in the next 1 to 3 years, let's say. And I'd say that is absolutely great if you're a New York Knicks fan, Villanova fan, or Mikal Bridges fan. That will do very little for his card value. And here's why. I'm going to go down and look for the equivalent of Mikal Bridges from previous champions. And I want you to go through this with me and look for about the number 2 or number 3, number 4 option, and let me know if any of these guys have long-term value. So let's go back to the 2021 Golden State Warriors. I'd say Andrew Wiggins is very Mikal Bridges-like from that team. Does Andrew Wiggins have long-term hobby value? I would say no. Let's go to the 2020 team. Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday were the number 2 and number 3 options. Do they have long-term hobby value? I would again argue no. Let's go down to the Lakers team that won the 2019 title. Kyle Kuzma How's his long-term hobby value? Non-existent. Let's go to the Raptors from 2018. Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet. Do they have long-term hobby value? No. Again, unless you're holding like a one of one, which conveniently or coincidentally, I do own a Kyle Lowry rookie card one of one. And then if we go back further to the 2015 Cavs team, because we have to skip the Golden State Warriors because that was like a super team with Clay, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant, and even Draymond Green. If we go to the Cleveland team that won the title in 2015-2016, Kevin Love, long-term hobby value, again, non-existent. So even if Mikal Bridges wins the title in New York, these cards are still going to be worth very little. This is the peak right here. There is no victory tour for Mikal Bridges card owners. There is no upside here besides what's already happened, right? If you look at his base stuff, for his base Prism, it's at like $40. It was previously at $15 a month ago. And the other thing is, for a base Prism, the pop is $11.52. The silver Prism is $7.80. They're actually pretty close together. And so that's why there's not that much of a difference. You can see it was the card as of a month ago was in the $50 range. The base was in a $10, $15 range. So it's like a 3x. Anyways, this is all a long way to say, save yourself a lot of money. Don't think of Mikal Bridges as an investment because the second and third banana never has sustainable hobby value. Unless of course, you are holding like a one of one or a logo man or something much more rare in and of itself. These commodity cards, like these base and silver prisms, like save your time, save your money, and do something else with it because these cards for these type of players, they're just not worth it. Would love to hear your comments and thoughts on this one. Thank you as always for listening and watching. I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.